Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. Okay, we're gonna do a freeze video. So, freeze, people kind of get this a little bit wrong sometimes. It not, it can be, but it's usually like, and also times it comes along with this one is sleepiness, tiredness, because you are in constant, like, stiff mode, okay? So, oftentimes this also comes along with, because of the sleepy tiredness, kind of walking around like zombified. This can also be paired with sexual abuse, because oftentimes that's when it kind of happens, in the nighttime. So, and usually when you're at this stage, it typically been exposed for years versus like had this one jolt of trauma and now we're like all the time. Okay, this is a result or the happenstance of this for years. Years. Okay, so that's where we pick up that sleepiness from, is that constant over vigilant for years. That was your natural state. That's what the sleepiness, tiredness, freeze means. You no longer get that impulse to run or pull back fist. You are now in a state of like, it's almost zombified. It's not to say that the people who have this response are like zombies and they're empty. No, but it's more like I do not um now have the faculties to deal with this in a adrenalized way, because now it is come to kind of a dwindling down of the resources and things have kind of been eroded. This is kind of like that powder state that I was referring to in the flight one, where you're just kind of being ground away into fine powder, which also comes along with fawning, which I'll get into the next video. So this is longer term, and also can also be an indicator that there was sexual abuse along with every other abuse, because we tend to look at these types of situations as like, oh, it's this, and then this situation has this, and then this situation has that, and this situation has this. We need to start thinking of this abusive trauma pattern as a whole system. It's a whole circular wheel cycle that keeps running around and perpetuating itself. So we could be coming to a better understanding of that wheel of fortune as well. Because if this is what your wheel looks like, where somebody's taking advantage of you on not just a mental or emotional level, but also on a physical, social, that gets into group dynamics where somebody's pinpointing a target and making them the bully. And then it's almost like a pig pile happens on the target, right? That's abusive, right? Um, how else does this show up? Financially, somebody could be like, well, obviously, you need some help with this, so I'm going to take over and I'll do all the things for you and blah, 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 blah. And before you know it, you're left with little to nothing to live off of. Or absolutely nothing. They delegate everything. Your meals, your insurance, your whatever the heck it is. Look at Britney Spears. Okay? So again, that whole entire system that works as a cyclic pattern. People often think that like when an abusive situation comes into the spotlight, that it's, if there's a physical abuse, that's the only kind that was ever happening. No, it took a lot of other abuses in order for the physical to actually happen. That's what we fail to kind of understand when it comes to these abusive tactics, is so many other things have to be in place in order for physical striking to happen. It's really, really important that we start understanding that. Because when we choose to go against our best interests, we are putting ourselves on that scale, on that cyclic pattern, okay? And eventually, if you continue to put up with this, not only is your functional system that is meant to alert you to, harm, is going to wear itself out, but you are going to reach the state of physical trauma. Okay? So remembering that point before you keep proceeding to continue the pattern, before you go back and let that person know that, hey, not only do I not respect myself and my person, but you needn't bother do that either. So that whole pattern is in place, okay? So that's why your body is designed the way it is. This isn't some lizard brain default horrific thing. It's there for a reason. It's there for a purpose, and this is the purpose. Okay? We don't need to shut it down. We need to work with it, okay? And hold its hand, and then, take appropriate measures to either completely negate whatever the heck that is, which is not really going to happen so much because you don't have sovereignty over another person. So unless that person is, which even then you still have to keep them at a safe distance. So many times we neglect this about the situations we find ourselves in. The universe isn't going to be like, hey, did you want to suffer for the rest of your life? Because that's why you're here. No, the universe is going, what are you willing to suffer for? Is this worth it for you? And if you're like, well, yeah, then you've made your choice. But oftentimes this comes to no fruition. This doesn't come with expansion and growth and authentic love. It comes with a grinding down of like your very internal mechanisms designed to keep you safe from this, which is where the freeze mode comes in. So when we get into that mode, oftentimes we can do things to help the blood start flowing to the extremities, because the freeze mode, everything goes inside and keeps those vital organs kind of going while we go into complete and total shock. Or we just go still for stagnancy purposes because we do not have enough adrenaline being produced at this point to keep up. Okay? So breathing deep all the way down to the diaphragm and then out again, 10 deep breaths. If you find that this is, some people can kind of get like later on in life, they can get kind of like, I don't want to say a stiffening of the extremities, but a lot of times there's like no blood flow there, or there's little to nothing getting to their extremities. Like, so their hands are always like ice cubes. Like if you're in a cold room and it gets cold, that's fine. But like if you start losing sensation in your fingers and your toes and you just can't get them warm, then you need to start doing some things that are going to supplement that blood flow. Always check with a healthcare professional first. I am not a healthcare professional, but you could ask people about redwood, and you can also ask people about celery as far as getting that blood going. Ginseng's not that bad either. It's more kind of geared towards the men for a particular reason, but it can also help women just in the blood flow case, okay? What else? So the blood flowing, again, not going into the running state, because that's going to get you into a whole another cluster of other things. So not starting up a pattern of workout routine that's going to get the blood flowing in that manner. You can do yin yoga. You can do, like, Pilates would be a really good one that just has you hold a pose so that blood has chance to get there. And it does increase the heart rate, but not to a stressful level like running does, because that physical movement is telling your body, oh crap, we're being chased by something, flood the system. And that's where you get your runner's high. So, what else for the deep breathing? Yin yoga, I mentioned that. And also to like, if you are starting to feel that too, wiggling your toes and fingers in the morning right away before you even get out of bed, and doing that regularly throughout the day, we're going to find ourselves in a lot more predicaments where we're just kind of sitting and stagnant, remembering to kind of set maybe an alarm, especially if like you have a desk job where you set an alarm 45 minutes to every hour and 15 minutes, depending on which works best for you. Getting up and physically going for a walk, taking a break, doing something that's standing and moving, like doing dishes, folding laundry, whatever the heck it is, right? Sorry. I don't know if it's windy or if the cats are running around upstairs. Oh, there's one. Maybe it's Lily. So, remembering to keep that blood flow, continuing to get to the outer resources too. Because when you're in freeze, it typically goes all in. Whereas if you're in fight or flight, it's going to your extremities. Fawn is going a lot. It's going inside, but it's going a lot to your brain. How do I get through this? How do I get through this? Blah, 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 blah. You're doing the mental gymnastics to work yourself through the situation. So meditation every day too helps get out of that stagnant energy that you put yourself in. Like, just don't effing move. Don't think. And that's, again, that's the system shutting down into unconscious mode, where it's like, we're not going to think about this, we're not going to feel about it, we're not going to do anything with it. Bringing yourself back upright and getting yourself into a state of getting that's what meditation is. It's that precipice where the DMT is being released right before you go to sleep, and staying there rather than falling into it. Okay. And practicing that mechanism. So that way, when it does happen, you're not automatically you're just gonna say, okay, this is my meditative state. What did we learn from this? Where do we go from here? How do we deal with the situation in a healthy manner that is not going to allow me to be, again, this powdery substance that's just being swept under the rug and completely ignored because I now am standing here or sitting here or whatever it is, doing absolutely nothing for myself other than just a deer in headlights or, like a hot dog stance, whatever it is. So, kind of bringing that into a meditative state where you're like, how can I understand this situation? So, asking questions, keeping yourself alert and awake. Sometimes this means having like you could keep like hard candies with you to pop in your mouth to kind of keep you awake, chewing gum. That's so unhealthy, but we need to stay awake. We need to stay awake in order to whatever. So maybe there's Ricola. I don't know. That's natural. There's things out there that are like natural, like there's elderberry type of whatchamacallit, that'll help the system too. And if you are at this state, that's the other thing. Ashwagandha is going to be really, really nice for you on this platform. Just make sure it's not going to counteract any other health issues you have or any other medications you might be on. Always consult your doctor. Always. What else? I feel like there's something else. Ooh, check out GABA. GABA it's capital GABA. It kind of soothes things without cutting you off. Another thing too that can go with all four of these is I'm going to talk about this here because I have time. Is bowel issues, because the mind and the stomach are directly connected via a lot of things in the body. You can order a get to know you internally books online. I would get to that ASAP. What else? Things to keep the energy up. Like food wise, it would be good to get some things that are higher in B12 and magnesium, which are the two things that are being depleted out of our soil. So, what do you call it? There's spinach, there's like power greens, they call them. Try to get those in your system, whether it be through a salad or throwing it in a shake. You can put it in soup too. I chop mine up and put it in soup, just like eating noodles. It really is. It's not that bad. I don't mind it at all. What else is so yeah, you might actually have to supplement with those things. Magnesium. There's like a calm powder that you can buy. That's just a brand name though, I think. There's magnesium powder stuff that you can put in like your water or your drinks or whatever that kind of bring magnesium. That's the transmitter herb taking all the nutrients that you ingest and putting them where they need to go so things function on a more homeostasis level, or at least that's the goal, is homeostasis. Okay, so when you are in stress mode, you're not in homeostasis, right? But if you got one of these, you're pretty much in stress right now. And that's okay. That's what, it's just a happenstance that is happening to go on right now. And there's narratives being pushed that are false, and there's narratives that are being pushed that are not. So you need to discern what's right for you. I'm not here to tell you one way or another. I am here to help you walk through this physical happenstance that's happening to everybody, irregardless of what you're on. So remembering there's options are available to you, and getting into some sort of ritualistic thing that keeps you awake, keeps you alert, keeps you functioning. Maybe journaling down the worries and stresses, not to necessarily for the calming and zzz of the system. And also, like, before you go to bed at night, making sure that there's no screen time, like an hour before bed. If the sun is setting, try to light candles in the house if you feel comfortable doing so. If it bothers your lungs, then don't. There's lights like this, but that uses battery. There's electricity, which costs more money, blah 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 blah. Then just go to bed at sunset. What a radical, insane idea. How dare you? Well, it was what we used to do. Well, we're not living 3 million years ago. Okay. I get it. It's just an option. I'm not telling you how to do it. What else? Reading books before bed. Nice books. Informational books. That's a good way to kind of get into that DMT mode, assimilate that information, almost like not quite in an osmosis way, but that DMT is definitely gonna be flowing in your system, and you're gonna be like, ooh, how do we assimilate this information? Oh, okay. Same thing. When you wake up, have a ritualistic, moving the fingers and toes, maybe doing a little stretching. Let all those little joints know that they're going to need to be well lubed for the day because you're going to be moving and shaking. That signifies to your body, hey, I'm going to move and shake today. Okay. And it releases that coating that goes on the friggin' synovial fluid, it's called, in the joints and whatnot. So your body starts to come into an understanding on a very real physical level. Hey, we're going to be moving and shaking today, so get your shit together. So that's already alerting you physically, right? And then, doing your tea, coffee routine, whatever you need to do. Now, some people need a breakfast, and some people are like, I can't eat right away. So whatever needs to be your ritual, start that ritual in the morning and the evening and try to work from there. Work around the sleep if you're having problems with sleep. Work around it. Don't try something weird and kooky. Get the 8 hours, okay? Because your body's already begging for you to do it anyway. So set yourself up for a healthy sleep pattern in that way. Again, GABAs might help you a lot in that particular area. Licorice root is a really nice one to drink before bedtime. Chamomile and lavender is a really good bedtime tea. Get that system warm and opened up to a relaxing, calming situation. So that way you're not, who knows? Hold off on like melatonin. A lot of people reach instantly for melatonin. That's the thing that your body produces naturally. So if you screw with those levels too much, you could become a little bit too independent on them for that function. And then your body will kind of stop producing that for you because it's getting the whatever kind of amounts. So again, talk to your doctor about this. There's valerian root out there. Again, GABA, I would start with GABA first. I wouldn't go too extreme. I'd start light stuff and then see what happens. Okay? Why GABA? I thought that was for workout stuff. Yeah. And when you're freezing, your whole entire body is like this. So yeah, GABA's gonna help. Love you. Okay. So when we're proceeding there, take the nervousness and the stress off the sleep thing. Take the fact that, like, this could have happened, this might have happened, it didn't happen, why is this lady even talking to me right now? Take that out of the situation and then start to function completely and totally around your sleep schedule. That 8 hours a night, what's going to get you to there, through there, and then up in the morning and awake during the day. Focus on that procedure, okay? I think that's it. Remember to breathe deep always. I'm going to keep hammering that point home all the time. Are you breathing all the way down to your diaphragm? No? Well, then work on it. Practice makes perfect. Okay. I'm going to do probably another one and then see where I'm at. Until next time, keep your flame.